What's up, space pirates? This is your admiral, the Dread Pirate Dr. Disaster. And as a space pirate, I suppose I can appreciate Ubisoft's latest approach toward their floundering business. It looks as though Ubisoft is planning some sort of escape parachute for the bigwigs at the company, which is unsurprising considering the rough year or so that they have had. 2024 was supposed to be the big one for Ubisoft, with Skull and Bones, Star Wars Outlaws, and Assassin's Creed Shadows coming out. They poured a ton of money into those games, and in fact, they have yet to be profitable this decade at all, leading up to 2024 where the big payoff was supposed to happen. Last year was supposed to change their fortunes, but gamers had other plans.
I'm not paying for those.
Ubisoft told everyone to get comfortable not owning their games, and then the nightmare began for them. Skull and Bones was a massive flop despite being referred to as the first quadruple A game. Star Wars Outlaws was such a failure on the market that Ubisoft stock prices tanked within days of its release, and Assassin's Creed Shadows got pushed back and still hasn't even been released yet. The trio of triumphs that Ubisoft had planned out quickly turned into a trio of terrors, and on the verge of Assassin's Creed Shadows finally getting released, we are hearing that management at Ubisoft is attempting to start a new business entity to house their best IP, which sounds like the business version of this.
Get the hell out of here!
Word has come out that Ubisoft is looking for potential investors to swoop in by the end of the month with bids to help fund a new business entity which will house the best Ubisoft IP. It's unclear what this would look like, what this new entity's relationship would be with Ubisoft, but one thing is evident. Ubisoft is desperate. Assassin's Creed Shadows is their last best hope at salvation as the company teeters on the brink of collapse, and the projected numbers can't look very good if they are pushing this new entity so hard. It seems they are finally getting the message from gamers.
Nobody likes you. Everybody hates you. You're gonna lose.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, and don't forget to follow me over on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1. But alrighty then, let's have a peek at what Ubisoft is up to. What it sounds like is this business entity that they are creating will have control over any IP that they own, which is worth the shit. But what is unclear is what the relationship this company will have with Ubisoft. Will it be a studio existing under the Ubisoft umbrella? Will it be its own thing? Considering the amount of investment that we're talking about here, chances are they are planning to make this an independent entity of some variety. It'll likely be under Ubisoft's control, at least at first, but such an entity will be in prime position to be jettisoned from Ubisoft and to strike out on its own if things go badly. But if this is the case, Ubisoft investors should be furious. Moving franchises like Assassin's Creed over to a new entity is like thumbing their noses at Ubisoft investors, particularly since it sounds as though the Guillemot family, who have run Ubisoft into the ground, are wanting to be heavy investors and to run this new venture as well. But let's read about it in this article here from Yahoo Finances. The article reads, Ubisoft is apparently up to some business-shaped shenanigans behind the scenes, as it's reportedly considering launching a new part of the company that would house some of its main intellectual property, notably including Assassin's Creed. This comes from a new Bloomberg report in which anonymous sources familiar with the situation have claimed that Ubisoft is looking for investors to support this so-called IP unit, which apparently hasn't actually been formed yet. It's not actually clear what this part of the business would exactly do, but it appears that it could be very significant, as the report claims that Ubisoft might seek for it to be valued even higher than the main company, although apparently no final decisions have been made and plans could change. So, as I said, if they are looking for this to be valued higher than the main company, that tells us that they are looking for some extremely huge investments, and more than that, as I said before, it suggests that this business unit is being primed to be its own independent unit if things don't go well for Ubisoft as a whole. It seems like a fairly nefarious way for the Guillemot family to avoid facing the backlash of their very shitty management of this company. But let's also look at this article here from Video Games Chronicles, which gives us an idea as to the time frame on this thing. The article says, according to a new report, Chinese giant Tencent is said to be one of the potential backers for the new venture, which would control franchises like Ubisoft staple Assassin's Creed. Bloomberg has claimed that the company has asked for bids to be made as soon as by the end of this month, citing sources familiar with the deal. And that timing is interesting because at the end of this month, that will be a week and a half after the release of Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I suspect that Shadows plays a large part in their plans here. Now, chances are that this upcoming game, that Shadows, sells a few million units in its first couple weeks after release. I personally have called my shot. I'm thinking it'll land somewhere between 2 and 3 million units sold, which sounds like a lot, but it's actually very poor considering the budget for this game and the amazing pedigree of the franchise, not to mention the fact that gamers have been clamoring for an Assassin's Creed game set in Japan for literal decades now. But anyhow, I suspect that Ubisoft will be touting the sales of this game. Regardless of how much money they lose on the venture, they will be touting the sales and using it as a way of enticing potential investors. Basically, what it is that they're up to, though, can only be speculated about at this point until we learn more. But one thing is sure, these behind-the-scenes maneuvers seem like desperation on behalf of management to find a way out of the financial hell that they are in. It seems as though they are spending an awful lot of time trying to figure out a way to both allow Ubisoft to survive and to allow the current management team that is running it to stay in charge. These guys remind me a lot of your average politician in this way. At a certain point, it's no longer about actually doing a good job. It's all about doing whatever they can to stay in power. They're not worried about making good games that people actually want to buy and that don't cost such a ridiculous amount of money that there's virtually no way that they'll make their money back. No, instead of that, they are worried about how to stay in power. But I'm going to leave it there. Drop your contempt for Ubisoft and the chuckleheads who run the company into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.